I'm here. Finally, I'm like running behind today trying to get this all set up and ready to go. It is on, right? Okay, it's on. It's on. Good. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. How are y'all doing? Thanks for the lurk and listen there, Hearthside. Go check out Hearthside's channel. Usually on Wednesdays, you'll see him narrating in the morning, so you can catch him there and doing the whole kind of horror thing too. Usually, so he's pretty good at it. You should check him out. And then don't forget, check out Mama as well. Fantastic stream. I love stopping in there when I can, so I try to stop in there every time that I have time to do so. It's a good time. You should check her out. Check out the stream. Do it. And thank you for joining, Mama. You're always here. You're like a regular now. You're part of the crew. You're part of the crew. Centurion, thanks for the lurk there, buddy. I appreciate it. The sexiest voice on the internet? Some people would argue, but I'll take it. Tonight, lots of fun stuff. Actually, two fun things, really, that we're going to be doing. One is reading a story, and two is reading another story. It's fantastic how these things just kind of line up. It's almost like I plan them out that way. Fantastic stories, too, I might add. I mean, they've all been fantastic so far, so the bar's set pretty high. And these are pretty different from each other, so I think you're going to like them. There's a good mix, if you will, of stories. The first story that we're going to read is called Little Green Man by James Sharpe. And it goes in a place that you definitely won't see coming. The next one is called Simon by Matt Butcher. The first story, Little Green Man, is kind of in the theme of aliens. So there you go. That's what I'll leave you with until we get to the booth and we read that one. And then the next one is more of a psychological thriller, if you will. I think you'll catch on pretty quick what's going on. Maybe not. But it's definitely different. So stay tuned for that one. I'm excited about both of them. I did not bring a beverage to have, so we're going to have a water. That's what we're going to do. A water. A seltzer, if you will. Blackberry mango. Sounds good. That's pretty good. I don't mind it. Not sponsored in any way by this particular beverage, but it's good. So, I don't really have too much other than, getting to the stories, but I did just finish up another audiobook last night, in fact, and I sent it off to the editor to get that all edified and, all those mistakes that I didn't catch during the process sent back to me so I can re-record those. So I expect here in about probably 2 weeks at least, after, how long it takes for editing, and then the author has to go through approvals, and then it gets kind of the QC by ACX Audible. After that, though, I'm expecting around 2.5 weeks. It should be available on Audible, and I'll let you know when it's out. And it's called Gone by Morning, and it's a kind of a thriller whodunit with a little bit of light romance in there. It's not spicy by any means. If it gets kind of anywhere even close, it immediately fades to black. But there is a little bit of relationship dynamic between the two main characters, which I find really good. When I first, was pitched the book from the author, she left that romance part out. And I was like, oh, thriller? Yeah, I'm in. A whodunit? Got you. And then as I'm reading, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. But it's actually really well done. And I really enjoyed it, actually. The dynamic between the two characters. Hopefully I did it justice. But they have an interesting relationship, we'll put it that way. A lot of history. So it was interesting to portray that. Excited about that one. Gone by Morning, and it's the first book in a multi-part series, of which there will be 2 in the Lake Travis series. I'll be doing the next one 2 books from now, because I have a fantasy series lined up, and then I have book 3 of the Wanderer series, which is the kind of angels and demons and, private investigator during modern times kind of thing. The Second Bride is out right now, if you want to check that one out on Audible. But I'll be working on those two and then back to the second one for there. So if you want to strategically wait so you can get both at the same time, totally understand. But the first one's good. So here in a couple weeks, and I'll let you know. That is pretty much it for the announcements. We got, a ton of submissions for, and I need to reach out to you, Mama. Actually, I need to message you. Remind me as I'm closing down the stream tonight to send you a message, with putting you on the schedule, because I've been inundated with people for Whiskey Wednesdays. So that's good. We're booked all the way out until May, middle of May. I closed my schedule book, otherwise I could be able to tell, but I think middle of May or something. But I think, Mama, you had something maybe too that might fit for Macabre Monday, so maybe we'll slide one in there. I don't know. I'll talk to you. Remind me, because I keep forgetting. I keep getting sidetracked. Like I've been sidetracked, getting to the darn stories. Yes! We need to get to those, don't we? Let me go ahead and I'm just going to kill the music because it'll be kind of a weird vibe in the middle if I don't. So, anyways, I do. You have a few. Okay. And yes, please do remind me. I got to get on that. Let's go to the booth. Shall we? We shall. Oh, to the booth. Almost forgot my drink. Can't do that now, can we? It's kind of warm in here today. I don't know why. It's not too particularly warm outside. It's like 64 degrees. That's like, it's an okay temperature, Kind of moving into those spring, summertime vibes, eventually here. Let me hook this up here, get this going. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I don't like it that way. As I try not to knock everything over and set everything up. How are you all doing with the time change, if you are affected by the time change here in the states, at least? If you're in a state, most of them are following daylight savings time because we hate ourselves, I guess. I don't know. We voted here in California a couple of times to do away with it. It passes, and then, the vote passes, and then for some reason, when it gets back to the, people that we pay copious amount of money to do nothing, politicians is what I'm referring to, all of a sudden it's not approved, it doesn't pass, and we don't do it. I don't get it. I don't like it. I especially don't like it when we lose an hour and it goes fast forward, right? Like it did this time. Sucks. You feel that hour, at least for me, right away, it's okay. Towards the end of the week, I'm going to be a zombie, you know what I mean? Anyways, just complaining. Let's get into some stories, shall we? Yet another reason to move to Arizona, Mama says. Absolutely. You are 1,000% correct. That is a really good reason to move to Arizona. I think, isn't there... There's a couple more that don't do it, right? I definitely know Arizona is one of them. And that's closer, I think, probably than the other ones, but we should follow in their footsteps. Do what they're doing. All right. Anywho, let's get into our first story called Little Green Man by James Sharpe. It was around 2:57 a.m. when the incident occurred. I haven't been able to write an official report. No one would believe me. Everyone down at the station would laugh me out of town, and I quite like living here. We're having a baby in the next few months. I can't do anything to jeopardize my job. When I cast my mind back, I can't help but laugh and feel a little sick. Sometimes I dream about that night and wake up with a huge smile on my face, yet face the day with an impending sense of dread and unease. I was alone in the car. I was driving back to the station along a winding, dark road lined with tall trees. It had been an uneventful evening. I stopped a couple of people for speeding. I gave one ticket to a mouthy teenager who'd only been driving a week. His dad was going to kill him. Hopefully. I was thinking about the paperwork I'd have to do before knocking off for the night when a bright light burst out of the woods behind the car. I swerved, craning my neck to see what was going on. The light moved over the car and back into the woods. The darkness swallowed the light, and all that remained were my headlights, stabbing through the night. I didn't stop. I didn't want to find out what it was. My mind reeled. A weather balloon? A gas explosion? Some fancy new app I wouldn't have the time to care about? I accelerated. I needed to get back onto the streets proper. I kept swiveling my head round to the back of the car every few seconds, as though I was passing a parade of gruesome road accidents. I assumed the light was behind me, resting, waiting to pounce. I made a mental note to Google it in the morning. Maybe other people would have seen it. It was while I had my head turned that I hit it. I should have had my eyes on the road. How the hell was I going to explain the weird-shaped dent in the car's bumper? The hit lunged me forward in my seat, slamming my eyes to the windscreen. I punched the brake, and the car frowned to an abrupt stop. The object I'd hit had been pushed aside. I turned to my right to see I'd pulled level with it. My pupils strained as the light underneath it burned its last and faded to a dull ache. I have no other words to describe the object I saw. Using hindsight and my passing knowledge of science fiction, I can only say it was a spaceship of some description. It was about the size of a Fiat 500 and looked like a Kickstarter campaign gone wrong. It was made of metal. I couldn't see any windows. It wasn't saucer-shaped, but had no clear up or down. It might have been tossed into the air and landed that way for all I knew. I sat and stared for a few minutes. The air tingled. I wondered if I'd die of radiation poisoning. I didn't want to lose my hair. I hadn't lost it yet. I thought about driving away. I thought about stopping by the pub on the way home. I shuffled over into the passenger seat, opened the door, and stepped out into the crisp Derbyshire air. I could hear vague humming. I couldn't tell if it was the craft or the hairs in my ears vibrating in pain from the sound of the crash. I pulled out my torch. That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? That's what they do on TV. Pull out a torch and shine it around the area even though there's enough light. I just needed to hold something. I walked around the car and approached the craft. Something moved. A hole appeared in its side, and out stumbled two unsteady creatures. They were green and about 3 feet tall. They had eyes, but not like our eyes. They didn't like having a torch shown in their faces. All I can say about them is that Star Trek got it wrong. They seemed pretty close to what I'd seen of the X-Files, though. That's a good thing, right? It means all those people we all thought were crazy had actually seen something, and what I saw before me matched the crazies' drawings and descriptions. I didn't see their mouths move, but I heard them. "Can you stop shining that thing in our eyes?" a voice said in my head. I lowered my torch and stood my ground. I wasn't scared, but I wished I had a gun to cling to, like in the movies. "You were driving a little fast back there, eh?" I said. "Nearly knocked me off the road." They looked blankly at each other. Then, as if deciding a secret plan, they both stood up straight and locked their eyes on me. "We don't come in peace," they said in my head in unison. "We're the first of the invasion party. Prepare to be destroyed." As they said this, one of them swayed and staggered on the spot. I let their exclamation settle in for a moment. The air smelt wrong. "Are you drunk?" I asked. "Absolutely not." They straightened up again. "How dare you?" Then it clicked. All this time, we'd been getting it wrong. "Where are your parents?" I asked. "We don't know what you mean," they said unconvincingly. "Don't play silly buggers with me. Are you old enough to be driving that thing about?" I shone the torch on their craft. "Look, we can explain," they protested. "Don't. I've heard enough for tonight. We could disintegrate this whole planet if we wanted to." The one who seemed to say this was quickly elbowed in the ribs by the one who didn't. "Are you threatening me?" No. He's sorry. He gets a little excited." I reached for my pocket. "I'm going to write you a ticket." "A ticket?" "Illegal parking." "You can't." "Take it to your parents. You have 14 days to pay. The fine doubles after that time." I don't know what I wrote on the ticket. I must have made up an address. When I handed it to them, they took it in their long fingers, examined it, and didn't protest. They seemed sad. I told them to drive carefully and to head straight back to their parents. I then drove away as if it was any other night. It still bothers me, though, knowing something that no one seems to have worked out. All those visitations, all those sightings of little green men, they weren't little green men at all. They were just reckless little green children, joyriding around our planet. The end. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. I think it's a cute little twist to the common, alien encounter story, and it makes me smile. So I do realize that originally it was written for to be like Derbyshire. It was supposed to be, in the UK somewhere, but in the moment, I don't know, didn't feel like doing the English accent or butchering it, as it were, so it didn't get one. But if I were doing it for real, I probably would give it a little bit of that flavor. So, but it's good. It's a good story. I like it. Really well written. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Yes, that's adorable. I know. He just went into cop mode and scolded him, told him to go back to their parents. I find it hilarious. All right. This next story is not as cutesy. It's completely different, but I think you'll enjoy it as well. We might have to stop in the middle of this one for the ad break, but that's okay. We'll do that. And we'll stop. We'll talk for a little bit, and then after the ad, we'll resume our story so you don't miss anything. All right? If you're on the Twitch, if you're on YouTube, it's going to seem weird to you, but that's okay. We'll proceed with the story in due time, I promise. All right. So this one is called Simon by Matt Butcher. This was originally narrated on the Other Stories podcast by Ian McEwan, and fantastically done, I might say. So check out that podcast episode on theotherstories.net. Podcast. All right, here we go. Simon by Matt Butcher. Login. Email chloefisher2001@gmail.com. Password Chloe loves Simon. Chloe loves Simon. 42 new notifications, all from you. You've been a busy one today, Simon. Mostly they're likes of pictures, posts, and statuses, but there are a few comments in there too. Each one I cherish, as they are all a testament to your love for me, immortalized in digital writing for all the world to see. Looking good in this one, you commented on a photo of me from school. Sexy, LOL. You've commented on another photo, this time taken on a family trip to the local zoo. This comment is closely followed by a second, which reads, So glad you're mine, XX. I'm so glad you're mine too, Simon. There's something waiting in my inbox. The little speech bubbles are highlighted. There's one message from you, of course, but there's a message from someone else, too. It's from your psycho ex, Becky. No doubt another tirade of abuse. She seems to send me one daily. Why can't she just be happy for us? Why can't she just leave us alone? Catching a glimpse of her message's aggressive subject matter, I open yours as a distraction. Hi, babe, you begin, as you always do. Just wanted to tell you how lucky I am to have you in my life. Love you lots, Simon. XXX. Love you lots too, Simon. Thanks, babe. Glad to be appreciated. This is her. I messed that up. Thanks, babe. Glad to be appreciated, LOL. You still up for our hot date tomorrow? XXX. I reply. We're going to the cinema to see that new Alien film. I'm not too keen on anything sci-fi, but you are. And I'll do anything for you, Simon. I'm the perfect girlfriend. Bracing myself, I finally open Becky's message. It's only short, which makes a pleasant change from the usual barrage of expletives. Please stop, she shouts in capitals. You're breaking my heart even more. Stop what? Loving Simon? How can I? Surely she, of all people, must know how great a boyfriend he is. Kind, loving, and handsome. He's the whole package. Why can't you just be happy for us? I reply. You had your chance, and you blew it. It's my turn now. I've sent a similar response to pretty much every verbal onslaught sent my way. Perhaps this time it'll sink in. Perhaps, but I doubt it. Jealousy is a powerful thing. At first, Simon wasn't that into me. He was still with Becky then, though. She's the jealous type. Wouldn't let him talk to any other girls. She made him block me and delete all my comments. That bitch just couldn't handle a little competition. He's mine now, though. Funny how these things work out. I have him all to myself, and all she can do is send me horrible messages. She won't break us up, though. Our love is too strong for that. I go on Simon's page and open up his latest profile picture. It's one of him and me. I look terrible, but he's handsome as always. There are mean comments below it from some of Becky's friends, but I try to shut them out. They're jealous of what I have. They just wish they were as in love as we are. I stare into your eyes. They glow so bright on my neon screen, and wait for you to reply. And wait. And wait. Log out. Log in. Email. simonisawesome1998@hotmail.co.uk. Password. I love Chloe. 23 new notifications. Mostly wall posts. 2 new messages. Open messages. First, from the doting girlfriend. Thanks, babe. Glad to be appreciated, LOL. You still up for our hot date tomorrow? XXX. How do I let me down gently? Sorry, babe. I'm going to have to cancel cinema tomorrow. I'm not feeling too well. I'll make it up to you some other way, though. Smiley face. XXX. That should do it. Send. The second message is from that psycho bitch, Becky. What the hell is wrong with you? She shouts in capitals again. Go and fuck yourself, Becky. I'm happy with Chloe. I want you to leave us alone. I shout in his voice. He loves me. I'm sure he doesn't mind me speaking for him like this. I click on my page and on the new profile picture I uploaded earlier. Looking good, babe. X, I comment. I do look good. I know Simon would agree. I know him better than that bitch Becky. A new message arrives. It's Becky. Of course it's fucking can't take a hint, Becky. Fucking stop this now, Chloe. I'll call the fucking police if you don't. Simon springs to my assistance. Call the police. I'll tell them she's done nothing wrong. I'll tell them I love her and you're just the jealous bitch X. He would.
Simon would defend me to the police. He'd clear this whole damn thing up. He'd tell them that he loves me, and they'd lock Becky away for good. Get help. Do whatever else the fuck you want. Just stop using his page like this, she replies. But I can't. Simon would never stop loving me. She has to know that. Log out. Dun dun dun, the end of that one. And that one went pretty quick. A lot quicker than I thought it would. Definitely different. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Definitely starts off interesting and then gets really interesting by the end, I think. She'll find you. And it does beg the question, is all of this in her head? His head? Her head? I don't know. Who is it? Not sure. That's why I think it is rather fantastic. Interesting to read, though, because a lot of it, like with the text that's in there is like a message text. So it's all shorthand for everything, like GED instead of good, and, the smiley faces and everything being, the colon and the what do you call it? Parenthesis. So it's interesting to read, but I think it comes across like stronger that it's an online kind of thing, reading it versus like hearing it, but still good. Still good. Yeah, good one. Interesting. Let's go back to the desk, shall we? Because I am melting in here. It is so warm. And then we'll talk about some things. What's coming up next? Maybe a little sneak preview of the week. Or sneak preak. We just invented a new word. Yay. I like it when I do that. Let's go back to the desk and talk about our sneak preak. Oh, just in time for an ad. What do you know? All right. See you when you get back. Okay. We'll talk about some upcoming stuff when everybody's back from the break. Let's see here. While we wait for that, why don't we do this? Let's try to find someone to pass the stream along to. Well, who do we got in the reading and writing category? If I could figure out how to do that real quick. Browse, writing and reading. Okay, who do we got? Oh, do we have anybody in the friends list first? Let's check that out first, actually. Oh, yeah, okay. I think I know who we're going to go to. Faravio. I think that's probably who we'll go to. Another, looks like they might be doing a co-working and study stream, but they also might be recording some monologue stuff. Okay, we'll check them out for a little bit. But I have to go. I might, well, I'll wait till right now, because we should be back from the ad break. Okay. So I think I know who we're going to go to. A gentleman in their booth cam right now. Yep, he's working on a new chapter in the audiobook. Okay, cool. So we'll go over and raid this fine gentleman here in just a second. So up this week, you know what? Let me do this. Stop. I have to write everything down because otherwise I will forget. Okay. So, it looks like this week, yes, that would be the 12th, we're going to have Stephen Black's The Adventures of Tarum Mon. So that'll be interesting. I'm not even going to let you know what it's about. I'm just going to leave you in suspense. Partly because I
can't remember off the top of my head. Like, I did a ton of recording last night. I think it was up to like a little after midnight, just getting those last few chapters in, like just powering through. My brain is mush, but I am actually going to go right after this and do a little bit of recording for another project. I have some audio drama lines that are due, so I need to get that done. And then I need to start prepping the next book. So it's nice that these are kind of short. I might start doing maybe 3 short stories, because these seem like super, super quick to me. Like, how long have we been on? Like a half an hour? Sometimes they're 45 minutes. These seem like maybe a little longer. I don't know. So maybe I'll plan out kind of to have the material be at least 45 minutes to an hour or whatever. And then, you know, if we get some chapters from some authors, sending you a message, Mama, right after this, to gather some story stuff, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll have Stephen Black and The Adventures of Taramon on Wednesday. And then I think this Thursday, I'm going to skip the Throwback Thursdays again, because I am going to, hopefully, after the stream on Wednesday, I need to tear down my setup and redo it. And I'm going to set it up in a little different way, probably invisible, hopefully, to you guys. But it'll be a little bit better for me. And maybe I can get the camera working in the booth downstairs, like the new sound booth. Ooh, and that would be really, really cool, because then that'll enable us to do live and record audiobooks, no kidding, here in the future. So I'm going to try to work on that. Instead of streaming on Thursday, I'm going to work on the stream on Thursday. So next time you'll see me is this Wednesday, and then followed by next Monday with another one. Jordan Smith. He'll be up next with his story. Anyways, let's pass you on over to another stream. Let's raid out. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Mama. And I will be shooting you a message here soon. So let's go to the end screen, shall we? And let's go raid out.